Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Tonight is a very special night. And before I even begin about how special tonight is, I want to say Happy New Year. So here we are, and we're going to kick the new year off right. And with that, we're going to talk about what ADEM is and who we are for the people, ADEM Slate 76. And I want to introduce first Daniel O'Donnell to talk more about what ADEM is, and then we'll kind of get deeper into things and also invite others to do some Q&A. And my name is Elizabeth Perez, and thank you for being here again tonight. Daniel?
Thank you, Liz. Hi, everyone, and again, Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us this evening. Much like myself, you're probably wondering what ADEM is, and I did not even know what it was until a couple of years ago. So unless you're deeply involved in the party or in a lot of different clubs, ADEM is probably the largest election you've never heard of within the Democratic Party in the state of California. ADEM stands for Assembly District Elections Meeting, and they take place every 2 years where all 80 districts elect 14 members to serve as delegates at the state party convention for the Democratic Party. It's through that process that 7 identified females and 7 non-identified or other than self-identified females are elected. So that encompasses 1,120 different individuals that serve as delegates in our party. In order to be a candidate, you need to live in your district. You need to be a registered Democrat. And once you're elected, these individuals will go down to the party convention. We will vote on party platform, endorsement of candidates. You'll also be voting on different legislative pieces for statewide and local office. And also you can be assigned to different committees. So that is basically a summation of what an ADEM is and does. And then I'm going to pass it over to Ashley, and she'll tell you why it's so important.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Bridgewater. ADEM delegates are important because they represent the people they serve. And that's you and everybody in Assembly District 76. This slate, we stand together in solidarity with the true progressive movement unfolding throughout our country, thanks to leaders like Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, and the growing squad that were sworn in yesterday to Congress. And like these Congress people, we're here to push the progressive agenda, advocating for the needs of the people that we represent. For the past 15 years, I've worked in public education, but coming here to San Diego and meeting this community of people, I know I'm in the right place and on the right slate with the right people. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, my name is Sarah Spinks. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out our People's Slate. Our slate, the People's Slate, believes in making the table longer and extending it to others. Sometimes ADEM slates are financially supported and endorsed by state or federally elected officials, or sometimes ADEM slate is in a bunch of individuals like us finding each other through grassroots organizing and community work. We feel as a slate like we need more regular working class people just like us to play a part in the decision-making process of our California Democratic Party, to bring progressive changes and political will for things like student loan forgiveness, Medicare for all, Green New Deal, police accountability, immigration, COVID response, Black Lives Matter, and many, many, many other people-centered policies and platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in, and you're going to meet everybody on our slate tonight and what's important to us, and we hope you've requested your ballot. You can find the link to request a ballot here on our page or visit ademelection.org, and you want to make sure you have that ballot requested by January 11th. Thank you.
Yes, so you heard so much about ADEM and why it's important. And yes, there are some endorsements that are out there currently. And what I would say to that is that last year, this moment is like no other. We cannot continue the norm. We cannot continue the pathway that we are headed. And what I'm saying is, yes, there's the Democratic Party. However, there are the progressives that are out there pushing for agenda for the people, not for politics. And that's where we're at, and that's why our party is so important. And part of that introduction to the rest of the slate that I'm a part of, and I'm so proud to be a part of, is here. So we'll start off with Al.
Hey everyone, my name is Al Reza, but I go by Al. I'm running for ADEM here on the People's Slate to give voice to the voiceless. I feel this cog we call the Democratic Party needs to be altered from the inside. As Bernie said, things need to be changed from the bottom on up and not from the top on down. We need to build a party that not only supports its people, as said in the Constitution, but protects its people from deadly pandemics such as the infamous COVID-19. One way that I feel we can make this happen is by installing a Medicare for All single payer plan. This plan would not only save countless dollars and lives, but it could also be a saving grace for so many. In conclusion, I'd like to say that if we do want to take a step in the right direction, we must get the evidence of dark money out of the political agenda. Allowing corporations to dictate how government is run just so that they can get a tax cut is beyond shameful and not the ideals that the Democratic Party should stand for. And if I am elected as an ADEM, I plan to fight for you and to stop this corporate buyout of the government.
Thank you, Al.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Iannoli, and I am running as a progressive candidate for ADEM in Assembly District 76. I have lived in North County for the past 7 years with my wife and our 2 fur babies. Upon moving to North County and volunteering at the local LGBT Resource Center, I was made aware of how human trafficking is a major issue in this area, and our Hispanic and LGBT youth are prime targets. I didn't know much at the time, but have learned a lot since. Safety and basic human rights are my biggest driving forces because I think everyone deserves access to both. The moment someone is trafficked, they lose all their basic human rights. Our LGBT and Hispanic youth are most vulnerable because of homelessness, job loss, income inequality, and rejection from friends and family. Education and resources is key to prevent someone from being targeted for trafficking. It is my mission to work with the LGBT Center and partner up with local schools to provide the necessary training and education needed to protect our vulnerable children. I know how difficult it was for me coming out as a young adult to family and friends. My family made threats to me and my partner. I felt scared and alone, but at least I had my partner to depend on. I don't want anyone to ever feel unsafe or unloved because of who they are or how they choose to express themselves. So it is important for me to always be an advocate and politically active to help and fight for underrepresented communities in all aspects of their life, from basic human rights to healthcare. I feel representation and visibility are key to get rid of the social stigma attached to those that society views as different. I am proud and honored to be running on this slate with so many diverse individuals that I have grown to love, respect, and admire. I hope that all our values and passion and dedication to others inspires you to vote for us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Susan Sherrod, and I am running to serve our community as an ADEM rep in the 76th Assembly District. I would like to represent everyone, not just the wealthy few. I'm a resident of Encinitas along with my young son, and I currently serve as an Encinitas Planning Commissioner for District 4 of Encinitas. Many times, I have contributed my efforts to nonprofits working for environmental and socioeconomic justice, including North County Climate Action Coalition, Sierra Club, San Diego Chapter, Surfrider Foundation, Oceana, Beverly, Vermont, Community Land Trust, and many more. The impacts of climate change are alarming and directly related to human activity. We are already seeing the effects unfolding, and the last 5 years are the hottest on record, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. This warming will be ongoing, and the emissions as well. We must do better to cut our fossil fuel addiction as quickly as possible. So I support policies that give us truly sustainable solutions, such as the Green New Deal. I bring broad experience as a registered California architect and retired engineering professor. I have focused on the grassroots fight for transformative climate action to avert the climate crisis and have supported the campaigns of progressive candidates. My childhood included 8 moves during my K through 8 years due to my father's job in the United States Air Force. I worked my way through undergraduate studies doing waitressing and a bit of bartending. I understand the very real struggles of working people and the importance of affordable housing for everyone's stability. I support inclusive policies to provide affordable housing for all people. Please consider voting for me and the others on our People's Slate, a progressive slate, to represent all people, not just the wealthy few.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. My name is Mustafa Nizam, and I served as the ex officio to the San Diego Democratic Central Committee from 2016 to 2018. I'm currently in an ADEM for AD76, and I'm running for re-election to continue to represent our district at the State Democratic Party. I reside in Vista, California with my wife and my daughter, who just started 9th grade this year, and I fought to bring change to North County by mentoring Democratic candidates to run for office, educating our community on important issues such as the Truth Act, Medicare for All, homelessness advocacy, and issues on social inequalities. I am a member of several organizations in North County, including the NAACP, North County Justice Allies, San Diego Interfaith Ministerial Associations, and the North County Immigration Task Force, where I met with elected officials at state level to advocate for immigration-related legislation. Please encourage your friends and family in AD76 to vote for me and my entire slate, the People's Slate. And folks, I just want to remind you to request your ballot at there's different websites, but I'm going to give you this one. It's bit.ly/PeopleSlate8076. You go there, request your ballot, and you want to also record your number because you're going to need that number before you mail in your ballot. And you want to make sure you vote for everyone on the People's Slate. We represent the people in AD76. And one thing that I'm passionate about is I didn't write this down. One thing I'm passionate about is criminal justice reform. We talk about defunding the police. It's a scary term to some people, so I'll use the term also repurpose. Right? We want to repurpose the funds. We're spending too much money on militarization of the police. That's a big disconnect with the members of the community. You know, it's very intimidating. When I was driving down Palomar Airport Road about 3 months ago with my wife and daughter, we drove by a military assault vehicle. Military assault vehicle has no place in our communities. Just imagine how much that cost, and just imagine how much of that money could have gone to social programs, youth programs. That's what we need. We need prevention. We need to divest from militarization of the police and invest in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Sarah Spinks, and I'm running for ADEM in Assembly District 76 with the rest of this wonderful slate, some of whom are really good friends that I've met along this path. I started getting involved civically back in 2011. I started organizing artists. I'm an artist, and that led to an appointment to the Vista Public Arts Commission. I was then elected chair. Then I wanted to move my business to, be able to walk to work. I live really close to downtown Vista, and started to really understand how conservative the leadership was in my community. And I started to meet all these wonderful people who live here, and we've grown this family and this grassroots organizing and activism, and we are really affecting change in our community, and it's really inspiring. And I just feel that energy, we can take that anywhere we want as progressives, and we should really engage our friends and families to participate more in democracy, participate more in our Democratic Party. And that's a big reason why I'm running, because this is our party and we really like can make it work as optimally as we want for ourselves. Two of my biggest issues are Medicare for all. My husband, I think we need to abolish the health insurance industry. My husband received a stage 4 cancer diagnosis at the age of 38 because his doctor just didn't want to do more diagnostic testing. Shameful. We deserve a better world. All our neighbors deserve. Healthcare is a human right. This is ridiculous. We have a Dem supermajority. If you aren't elected and that is not your value system, you probably don't need to be elected anymore. I'm strong about it. And then also, I feel really strongly that we need to abolish student loan debt. It's predatory. It's not okay. It's putting a ball and chain on all of our friends and our neighbors, and who benefits from that investment in ourselves, the employer class, and it's not okay. There's a better way. Other countries seem to have figured it out. I don't know what we're doing over here, but change comes from the bottom up, and this is an election that you need to know about. You need to vote in, but you can't do it unless you request your ballot by January 11th. The website is right there. This slate is amazing. I'm honored to be running, and I'd be honored for your vote. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Jim Riggenbach, and I'm a husband, a father, a long-term public school teacher, and really just a concerned citizen. And until recently, I was really just on the sidelines. You know, I would pay attention to the news, follow social activists on social media, but not really take any action. And so during the social uprising of 2020, led by the Black Lives Matter movement, I really that really motivated me to get involved and take some action. And I take a lot of my cues from Sean King. If you don't follow Sean King, I highly suggest it. Great guy, national activist, a lot of great ideas. And so he has me focusing on all progressive issues, but criminal justice reform for sure. I think there's a lot of work to be done with a fair bail system, revising mandatory sentencing, and eliminating private prisons. And of course, most glaring is reducing the footprint of police and policing the police. Really, there's not only is there a better way to approach public safety, but just with the police themselves, they need a lot more accountability. And kind of linked to criminal justice reform, I'm pretty passionate about the inequality, economic inequality issues that we have in this country. And I think a common sense progressive tax system will go a long way to making our country better. And even with a good progressive tax policy, there's going to be plenty of profits still out there for businesses to be successful and money to be made. But we can make sure that the ultra wealthy are not hoarding all the wealth in the country. And then finally, I just want to say I do want to push for leaders that will pass laws to pay reparations for the 400 years of slavery and 100 years of Jim Crow laws. I think that's it's super important to heal our country and achieve equality. Before I let you go, I just want to remind everybody, register to get a ballot. Got to do it this week, and really consider a vote for me, and especially the rest of my slate. I can't believe I'm on this slate with all these talented people. So with that, I'll pass it over to Ashley.
Thank you so much, Jim. Amen to a lot of those things. Hi, everybody. My name is Ashley Bridgewater again. Like a few people on the slate, I have experience in public education, and I've considered my work there as an avenue for helping make meaningful social change. Having taught in Philadelphia, New York, and then finding my home here in San Diego, I've served students from a wide range of backgrounds, much like my fellow teachers here on the slate. And I became poignantly aware of the injustices deeply entrenched into our society, systems of oppression. And I'm inspired by the good work of Bernie Sanders. He got me pulled in. And I began volunteering for his campaigns and later the organization he started, Our Revolution. And here in San Diego, I hosted Bernie Sanders events in the last run here, and learned from more experienced organizers here in San Diego. So thank you to my friends who helped me learn. And I helped organize the canvases up in Oceanside, and that was alongside my friend Brian Hart. And one of the most memorable things about knocking on doors and talking to people is hearing their stories about how these progressive plans would help them live with more dignity and comfort and help them to experience the things that are their birthright. I registered people who were newer citizens, so registering people for the first time who were inspired by Bernie's platform that called for deep and meaningful systemic change that represented all people. I think we all deeply really know we're in this together and want to be feeling like we are all equals. So Medicare for All and the Green New Deal I see as really important avenues for social justice. I'm running on this slate to add to the momentum of this movement. And whether elected or not, I look forward to continuing to stand beside these outstanding and energetic teammates on this slate. So I'm in. And once again, my name is Ashley Bridgewater. I hope I get your vote and everybody on my slate. So thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. You know, I didn't write anything before this. I think what we can say, for me personally, you know, this has been 2020 has been, well, there are no words actually. There's been ups, downs, all of it. And then a lot of the unthinkable has happened. And in terms of where we are, not just here in the US, but globally where we are. So many things that happened. And for those of you that do not know me, my name is Elizabeth Perez. I am a California native. I'm from Norfolk, Rancheria. I'm Mono Indian. And my father is also from Jalisco, Mexico, and also a Army. He served in the Army for about 17 years, and he was medically discharged. And unfortunately, he passed away when I was younger. And now I mention that because that left an imprint on me for the rest of my life. And a lot of my past is my present today. And what I mean by that is my native culture definitely, and what we don't do now, and that's why I'm pausing, because we talk about climate change. We don't overuse what we need, and that's where we're at. It's about humanity and not for self. And all of these traditions that I was raised with and my upbringing is why I'm here today. I honestly don't understand how we're even talking about this, how we can even comprehend in with the human saying, okay, we're going to overuse and abuse. I don't understand it. I seriously don't. And when you're talking corporations over people, politics over people, I don't get it. I don't understand it. So I'll just be really quick, and I'll try to make this quick. I'm a first generation high school graduate, first generation college graduate, first generation Mexican American. I'm the first in my family as a woman to join the military. I love this country, and I love everything that it stands for. But right now, we are at these crossroads where we absolutely need change. It's imperative. We cannot allow this to continue. Should not have been in many places what I have done in my life, my career. Being a combat veteran, starting a company during a recession, becoming a champion of change, and starting my company and addressing climate change, to being a U.S. delegate twice to address water and energy issues, to being appointed as Deputy Secretary for the state of California, for the California veterans, and I saw firsthand, even as a Democrat, the things that happen up top which don't go down at the bottom, and why things are the way they are now. When politics get in place, when corporations become part of that equation and the answer, and those, well, let's take money from those corporations so I make sure I'm elected. No, that's not how it works. This is already for the people. And I am honored to be a part of this slate because they are all genuinely a part of the same uniform voice, and it's for the people. And this is deep. All of this is really deep. So I just want to thank you for your time. And yes, this is an important time, more than ever. And Daniel, you can talk more about that.
Thank you, Liz. My name is Daniel O'Donnell, and I'm asking for your vote. I'm running as a delegate here in the 76th Assembly District with the People's Slate. And just to echo what Liz said, I am so proud to be on this slate with so many great people that have just hammered home and driven for grassroots movement and change that affects everybody in our district and throughout the state, really. I grew up in Chicago. I'm the youngest of 6 kids, and I grew up, my father worked the day shift. He was a service manager for a car dealership, and he'd leave at 7 a.m., sometimes not come home until 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And my mother then would leave and work the night shift at Nabisco. And sometimes they wouldn't even cross paths because he would work late or whatever it would be in the morning. She'd have to take us to school. But they worked very hard to raise 6 children. And I'm blessed because they gave me the opportunity to go to college. They gave me the opportunity to get a good job and to be able to have a voice to give back to the people that don't have one. The opportunities they gave me, like I said, allowed me to get my degree. But I'm currently buried in student loan debt. I have a good job, but over the last 2 years, I've probably paid back $20,000 in interest, and I still owe $5,000 more than what I borrowed. The unfortunate thing is that my story is not the exception. It is the norm. The cost of education in our nation has risen to 5 times the rate of inflation, which is ridiculous. But the same people that are sitting here telling you that you should go get your education, get a good job, are the same ones that aren't fighting for a higher minimum wage. They're telling you that education will provide you a better life, but then the corporations are telling you that the value of that education isn't worth the position that you're trying to hold. So I'm very passionate about what is going on right now in that system and how we continue to ride the backs of the poor and the disenfranchised. And we ask them to do all of these things for us. Give us your vote, and I promise I'll make it better. And time after time, we have let them down. We have let down millions of people across this country. And so what I promise to you, and if our slate is elected, if I'm elected, I will be unwavering in holding our political candidates accountable. I will make sure that we endorse measures and legislation that's going to fight for the everyday person. In my current position, I work with a lot of small businesses, and I've seen firsthand how everyone's been impacted by directly, especially in the food service industry, impacted by COVID. And I think it's a disgrace that it took 6 months to get $600, and that's all that they gave you. Now, I'm fortunate because I haven't been displaced for work, but I am in a very, very good situation as far as not having to be strapped for cash, unlike many, many other people. So I'm asking for your vote because I want to fight for everybody. I want to hold our politicians accountable. I want to fight for the legislation and meaningful movement that will create better schools, that will give access to affordable education, that will give access to healthcare, create greener energy policies. We have transportation policies where all we do is keep building roads rather than trying to find solutions to better transit options. So I'm asking for your vote, and I appreciate your time. So support the People's Slate and vote for Daniel O'Donnell. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Daniel. So hi, everyone. My name is Alex. I'm a young adult and a native San Diegan. My face isn't probably something you see too much as a Asian American and as a young person just being involved in politics, but I'm here. And so I think a large reason of why all of us are here are because we've been upset, we've been disappointed, and we've been angry because the people who are in power are not looking out for us. They are not taking care of the people. And so I never thought I would be in politics, but I'm here because I need to be at the table. And all of us need to be at the table because we are everyday Americans. And to kind of just lean you into where I'm coming from. So I grew up in a refugee household where my parents immigrated from Vietnam. And so the refugee mentality was survive. Buy what you needed, reuse what you could, and then save so that you can make it through the other day. It wasn't about living in excess, but living so that you had enough. Then in high school, I took a physics class where I learned about climate change. And at 17 years old, I had to reckon with the idea that our planet was going to be extremely hot and our cities would be underwater in some 50 or so years. And I was just terrified. I didn't know what to take of this. Like, I didn't take part of this, but yet me and my generation have to deal with this. And so it wasn't just like survival of my family. Now it had to be survival of everyone on this planet. And so right now we have 9 years to make absolute drastic changes to avoid a climate meltdown. And everyone has so much in this game. Everyone has so much in the stakes of this. The science is there, the technology is there, the consensus is there, but we are not doing anywhere close enough to what we need to do because those in power are either not willing to take bold action or they're just corrupted by dirty money. And so as an assembly delegate, I will push for the progressive agenda and I will promote and endorse those candidates who have integrity, who have a true moral compass, and will make this country work for everyone. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this because I want my friends, my family, my neighbors to live in a world where everyone can live and be treated with respect. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Katie Melendez, and I am your candidate for AD 76, along with the great folks on this slate. I'm super excited to be here because a lot of the folks on this slate were instrumental in helping me win my recent victory for Vista City Council in District 3 as a progressive voice in District 3. So a little bit about me. I am a native Vistan. I was born and raised here. I grew up in a working class home, first in my family to graduate from college, and through building community in Vista and becoming a community advocate, serving as a social worker, I was able to work with this community and win an election this November in District 3 here in Vista. So as your newly elected representative in District 3 of Vista City Council, I want to also represent within the Democratic Party those progressive values that helped me win my race in Vista in the first place. So some of the things that really matter to me that are going to continue to be foundations and essential for the policies that I advocate for are anything to do with social well-being, improving behavioral and mental health, and offering people a better recovery environment in our community. So something that I would really love to share that I think is really important, especially as we're looking at, what is a progressive and a people's approach to this election, And, where can we fall short sometimes? So something that's really important to me is recovery and behavioral health. And as many of us know, COVID-19 health crisis has just caused an increase in behavioral health issues, whether that be intimate and domestic violence, mental health, anxiety, depression, and of course, substance abuse. But before COVID-19, we saw in North County that a higher number of people are experiencing substance use disorders at 11.6% versus 9% for the entire state. So these are ongoing problems that are only going to be exacerbated by our public health crises and many of the other issues that have already been talked about from this slate, right? Issues related to the climate crisis, issues related to housing and homelessness. All of these things compound together to make it difficult for our communities to be successful, to have wellness, to be able to overcome their behavioral mental health issues. So as an advocate, as a community advocate, and as a representative here in Vista, I think it's really important to bring this perspective into inner party and into the policy solutions that we can bring forward, not only in policies that are going to be solutions oriented, recovery oriented, and evidence based, but also to know that it's an ever changing environment. We want to know that the people who are forming the policies actually have been able to work with some of the most vulnerable community members. Because at the end of the day, politics is about people. It's about people's lives. It's about making our community better so that everybody can have an opportunity to thrive. And being a social worker and being a community advocate, I'm able to share that perspective and hold our electeds accountable, shape policy, and drive conversations that are going to lead for the greatest public good. And I think that's why we're all here tonight. That's why I love this slate. And I'm really excited and grateful for everyone. So please vote for myself, Katie Melendez, as well as all the amazing people in this slate so that we can bring forward better behavioral and mental health services and solutions for our community.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Marta Alvarado. I'm an elementary school teacher, a Marine Corps veteran, a trustee on the Vista School Board, and a proud daughter of Mexican immigrants. I'm running to be an ADEM delegate because representation matters. Currently, on the delegation serving the 76th Assembly, there is not one woman of color serving as a delegate. This lack of representation is problematic, considering the diverse community that we live in. As such, I was compelled to become a candidate. COVID-19 has shone a spotlight on the inequities in our healthcare system. Latinos make up 33% of the demographics here in San Diego County, but we make up 59% of the cases of COVID, 57% of the hospitalizations, and about 50% of the deaths. The students I serve in Escondido, the students I teach in Escondido, and the students I serve in Oceanside and Vista as a trustee have been hit hard. Their families have been left with long-term health effects, hospitalizations, and deaths. Personally, I have taken a hit. My family has had 3 cases, and this past Saturday, my stepfather passed away. My mom was not allowed to say goodbye. I went in so that I could say goodbye and I could use video calling so that my mom could see her husband. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. That's why I'm unapologetically an advocate for Medicare for all. Before it hit my family, I've always been an advocate for Medicare for all. If elected as an ADEM delegate, I will fight unapologetically because I know that having a single payer healthcare system will help make our community healthier and it'll literally save lives. As far as a teacher, I serve a lot of immigrant children, students, just like I was. I came from an immigrant household. My students live in fear as ICE has raids, and many of my students have trauma every single day. They are so afraid to come home and find their loved ones gone. It's an abuse, and I will fight as a delegate for immigration reform that is needed so that these families can stop living in fear. They can come out of the darkness. I have been a lifelong public servant. I will always work for the betterment of everyone in my community, the most marginalized. I humbly ask for your vote, both for me as an ADEM delegate and the awesome advocates that are on this slate. Thank you for your consideration. Good night.
Hi, everyone. This is Mustafa again, running for AD 76 for re-election. And I just want to bring up something I already talked about, criminal justice reform, but I also want to talk about Medicare for All. I'll share a story from 2009. I was working for AT&T at that time. It was a good job. My wife was actually not working at that time. She didn't work for the first 5 years of my daughter's birth, right? So until she was 5 years old, she didn't work. I was working for AT&T, but unfortunately, I got laid off. And when you get laid off in this country, what happens is your medical insurance goes away as well, unless you pay the COBRA, right? But who can afford COBRA when they don't have a job and they're on unemployment? And it takes time to get unemployment if you even get it. So we're really in a bind where we weren't able to. We didn't have any income besides a little bit of unemployment. Through the years, fortunately, we had a condo and we also had a house. So on paper, it looked good, but in the bank, cash wise, it wasn't good. Our situation wasn't good, and we weren't able to afford our mortgages, our car payments, and things like that. Plus, what added to this was I suffered what's called a minor stroke, and it really set things back. I wasn't able to work. I wasn't able to really concentrate on anything. And, they didn't diagnose it. It wasn't diagnosed as a stroke. It was actually diagnosed as something else. So what I did, it was diagnosed as vertigo. So they were treating me as vertigo because I was going to a community clinic and I didn't really get the care that I needed, right? So I wasn't able to qualify for Medicare or Medicaid because I had a condo, I had a house, but I had no cash. So I had to actually, what happens is this Affordable Care Act that people talk about, it doesn't work for the middle class people, right? You have to either be very poor or you have to be rich. You have to be poor enough to qualify for Medicaid. But even if you make a little bit of money, it throws you out of that and you won't be able to get that. Like even if you make, even less than $15 an hour or $20 an hour, depending on how the size of your family. So they kick you out of that. So basically what I was doing, I was getting treated for this condition through the Vista Community Clinic, which these people are awesome. I love them. And, I support them any way I can, but they weren't really getting I wasn't really getting the care that I needed because I need to go to specialists and get like CAT scans and things like that done to find out what was really wrong with me. So this is why we need Medicare for All. Medicare for All, you don't have to worry about if you lose your job. It's something you don't have to even think about, And when I piled up these bills, I wasn't able to pay them. They just piled up and piled up. I didn't file for bankruptcy, which I maybe should have, and which a lot of people do. And a lot of people actually think of doing things worse than that, right? And there's so many Americans that do things, they do things that they normally wouldn't do when they pile up these medical debts. So So basically, what I did is after I started working, after my wife started working, this is after several years, we were able to consolidate our bills and be able to pay off that debt. But not everybody has that. Not everybody's able to do that type of thing. So Medicare for All would have put me in a position where I didn't even need to think about that. I would have no premiums. I would have no out-of-pocket maximums. I would have no deductibles, right? This is something that I wish for every American, every person that lives in this country. I wish that they would have Medicare for All. Right now, I'm very fortunate to have a job and work for an excellent organization which provides me premium-free healthcare at Kaiser Permanente. And, I wish everybody could have that. But still, you still have to pay your deductibles. You have to pay your copay, your out-of-pocket max. And even with that job, you have to keep that job, right? If they decide to lay me off, then what do you do, right? My wife is self-employed, so we would have to, based on our income, we would have to pay our deductibles. But then, based on your income, what happens? You don't have a job, so you have no income. You still have to pay as a self-employed person. Deductibles can be so high, it's really insane. So Medicare for All is the answer. Thank you.
Thank you for mentioning that and being self-employed and having to bear the debt of having those medical costs. As a small business owner, I absolutely understand that. And I also understand as a small business owner in the state of California for the past 11 years, and I'll just say it out front, this is not a small business friendly state. It is not, especially right now during COVID. I am fortunate enough to be in the right industry now, back in 2008, during the clean energy industry, during 2008, and general contracting just wasn't happening then. Fast forward now, it's actually doing okay for the most part. But imagine all of those small businesses that are not doing okay. And all of those larger businesses within our state that have gotten relief and money, not just from federal, but also from state. I do hold our state decisions accountable too. We absolutely need, what drives this country, what people do not know, it's not the corporations. No, are you kidding me? It's the small businesses, okay? The small businesses run this country. We employ the people. It starts there. And it starts here with this slate. And that's why this slate is so important. Jennifer?
Everything you said just touched my heart, and I agree wholeheartedly. Thank you for the words and the experience that you share with all of us. Working as a health and wellness advocate and coach for 8 years and hearing heartbreaking stories, people that just could not, and these are people that had private health insurance, and they couldn't afford their medications. It was either I'm going to, put food on the table, or I'm going to buy my insulin. And it was heartbreaking to hear these stories. So, and I've had private health insurance for years, but just hearing these stories, it's not even working. So what we're doing now is not working. It really isn't. So we need some change. So I am also a big fan and advocate of Medicare for All, and I think that's the way to go.
So I'm so excited to be running with these community advocates. We need your help. All of those who are watching tonight, we need your help. Okay, step number 1. If what you've heard tonight compels you, if you want us to fight for you, please go to adem.kdem.org and ask for a ballot by the 10th of January. those ballots will be mailed to you physically in the mail, snail mail. Then you will have to return it no later than the 26th of January. If you're a registered Democrat, you can do that right now. If you're an MPP, guess what? You can go register as a Democrat and then go request this tomorrow.
Thank you for saying that.
We need your help. We will fight unapologetically for the everyday working class person out there. So I just want to put that out there. If you feel so compelled to have people-powered movement, vote for the People's Slate.
And nobody is telling us how to vote. Okay? Once we're in, nobody has us on a leash saying, you need to do this because we endorsed you. I'm just putting that out there. I'm going to be real. Boom. Because this is about the people. This isn't about who's endorsing us. That's a conflict of interest. I'm going to lay that out there too. That is. Because when it comes to this and ADEM, everything that we were fighting, you take a look at how is California the wealthiest economy on the globe, one of the wealthiest economy on the globe, but yet when I'm driving down that freeway, I see nothing but poverty. And I mean, my gosh, this is not how it's supposed to be. No, let's do this.
Did I miss anything, colleagues, about what our public who wants to support a people-powered movement should do?
People power movement. I love it.
I just want everyone to get involved. This is our party, right? Let's get as much diversity, as much inclusion as we can. Let's just get as many people to the table as we possibly can, because you know, your vote is your voice, and if we can all just participate in this process, and we can make it better for ourselves and everyone, and we can fight for people we don't know, right? Like, let's fight for our neighbors. Let's fight for our neighbors, because I mean, I'm out here unemployed, husband's on disability. I'm kind of stoked. I am poor enough now that I qualify for Covered California. But I feel like I'm paying what I should have been paying this whole time. So we can do better. And I think that is what I'm just so honored I get to run with all these people. And I just get to be out here asking for better, because we just deserve better. We just do.
And one more thing, so we are in the 76th Assembly District. Maybe you're watching from another Assembly District. You can vote in yours. By going to this website, you can find out what your Assembly District is. If you don't know, send one of us a message on Facebook or text us, or we'll get you the information. But if you can't vote for us, find people who will serve the needs of your community on adem.kdem.org. And then, you know what? Bring a friend, bring your mama, bring your father, bring your sister, bring your cousin, bring your comadre. Say, you know what? This is important. We are not going anywhere anyways. Sit home and vote, please.
Vote. Yes. This is the second round.
The last thing I just want to say is, look at our slate. We represent the everyday people. We have activists, advocates, healthcare workers, teachers, educators. This is what America looks like. This is who you want to represent yourself in politics. Thank you.
We're all here. We're diverse. We come from all different backgrounds, and we're for the people. Thank you so much for being here this evening. And this was a deep conversation, a deep introduction. Why? Because this is no time to waste, and there's no time like right now, especially right now. I want to thank all of those that are running together for ADEM 76 for the people, because we are the people. This is who we are. What's up? Vote. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you. Thank you.